The following program contains strong sexual content. Viewer discretion advised. Today on an all-new Dr. Phil.
There was a party and I was photographed naked in a bed with 3 other guys. I had sex with all of them.
Explicit photos surfaced on Twitter.
There were 2 pictures. You could see her face. You could see it was her.
She's promiscuous.
At this party, you wound up being sexually engaged with 5 people. Does that sound even remotely reasonable to you?
Exploited.
How do you feel about those pictures being posted? Were you aware that a video was taken?
I didn't think that it would explode into what it did.
Everybody watching this is appalled at your naivete.
And defiant.
Tell me why I'm irritating you.
I don't want to be responsible for getting 5 guys thrown into jail.
No, because you want to be popular.
No, I'm already not popular. People already hate me. I don't care.
Let's do it.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
I hate to see people suffering, and you've heard long enough.
Stand by, Dr. Phil.
We're going to get you the help that you need.
5, 4.
This is going to be a changing day in your life. If you are raising a teenage daughter, today's show, well, it may terrify you. In fact, when I heard about this story, I told my producers we could be days away from another tragic headline, like one of these.
Schoolyard bullies are still around. They're texting and posting threats on social media to terrorize other students.
Hope sexted a picture of her breast to her boyfriend. Another girl at school, they say, got her hands on that photo and sent it to students at 6 different schools in the area. That photo had gone viral.
Anonymous bullies created a Hope Hater page to taunt her. The 13-year-old hanged herself from her canopy bed. She used her favorite scarves.
3 16-year-old boys from an upscale Silicon Valley suburb are in juvenile hall tonight facing charges in a shocking rape case.
She's 15-year-old Audrey Pott. There was a party. There was alcohol served. That's when she passed out. One person took a photo of her naked. When she found out that everybody knew about it, she became depressed, and the family attorney says that was what led to her committing suicide.
I want to make sure that today's guest, Claire, does not suffer the same fate. She is smart, pretty, popular, and privileged. She's 16. She is also interested in boys. But we're not talking about puppy love crushes here. 2 weeks ago, young Claire participated in an orgy with boys ranging in age from 16 to 21. Explicit photos from that night immediately surfaced on Twitter. Fanny says she couldn't believe her eyes when she saw her beautiful teen daughter in degrading, graphic sexual acts with multiple boys. Take a look.
Hey, Dr. Phil. I'm 16 years old, and I love partying, sex, drugs, drinking, basically everything my mom hates. And she wants me to change, but I don't want to. We've had a bad relationship since like middle school, and she's kind of psycho. This past Friday night there was a party and I was photographed naked in a bed with 3 other guys around me, and I had sex with all of them, and my mom's trying to put them in jail, saying that it was rape, but it wasn't. I intentionally had sex with them. She's basically just kind of like a helicopter parent, and I have no freedom whatsoever anymore. She's taken everything away from me. I would really like to come see you and see if you can maybe help her, I don't know, trust me somehow. I know that I've done a lot to break her trust, but I just want some way to earn that back. That would be awesome. Thank you.
Well, Fanny says she's at her wit's end and doesn't know if her 16-year-old daughter is going to end up pregnant, dead, or on the 6 o'clock news.
My 16-year-old daughter is promiscuous. She started having sex when she was 15. The first time I read her diary, she already had sex with 7 or 8 boys. And now I think that she had sex with 16 boys in a period of a year.
When I first came into this family, Claire had just turned 12. Fanny entered into a 2.5-year custody battle. That's when the problems began. Claire completely went wild.
Sneaking out of the house, drinking, smoking pot, multiple sexual partners. My daughter Claire was pulled over by a police officer around 3 a.m. She was in a car with 4 boys and another girl. There was alcohol and pot involved.
Remember how you check on me like twice a night, how you barely get any sleep every night? You tell me that like every morning that you don't get any sleep because you're worried about me?
She's got this variety pack type of addictions to alcohol, definitely addicted to attention from boys. She was actually caught with 2 or 3 boys in the church hallway smoking pot.
The boys my daughter is attracted to are losers.
You can literally go to the ends of the earth and always find skeletons in people's closet. I'm sure you have some yourself. Apparently you were a perfect child.
Last week, Claire went to a birthday party. She drove there already high. Claire probably went with the idea that she was going to have sex with somebody there. I don't think that she went with the idea of having sex with 5 boys. The next morning, I get a text.
There were 2 pictures. One with Claire basically naked, and you could see her face, you could see it was her.
I don't know that I can explain. It was very pornographic. There were 5 boys and 2 girls having sex, participating in this orgy. It's very tough as a parent to come to that realization that you have no control over what could happen. She feels like she's invincible, that she can do anything. I'm afraid that she's gonna end up dead.
Okay, I'm glad to meet y'all. I'm sorry for the circumstance. I always hear these parents say, my daughter was just wonderful, perfect, and then all of a sudden, just overnight, she became totally different. In fact, y'all have said exactly that. 14, she went, quote, psycho. That doesn't happen. Yeah. This stuff builds for a long time. What was the buildup here?
I think the first time that I noticed Claire being out of control was probably when she was 13. When I read her text exchange on her phone, I noticed that she was already exchanging inappropriate comments with other boys about sexual things.
You got to be way off the bubble for this to look like okay behavior. This isn't like, you know, she drifted a little to the side. Right. This is very deviant behavior. So that means this is a dramatically maladjusted young woman, in my view, for this to be okay. And what I'm telling you is just don't kid yourselves. And we have to think about different things. One thing that has to happen on an immediate basis is we have to suppress this behavior, right? You have to suppress the behavior. You've also got to figure out why it's happening. You got to figure out why this is okay with her, why she's so devalued that she allows herself to be used in this way. You start getting into the why. But you're talking about suppression. It's like when the house is on fire, you don't discuss fire prevention. Right. You fight the fire. And right now, her life's on fire. Absolutely. We have to stop this right now.
My mom took me to the emergency room because over the weekend I had taken 26 sleeping pills.
When Claire found out about the Twitter, she tried to kill herself.
And later, you saw flashes going off during sexual activity. What did you think was going to happen to those pictures?
I told him to delete them. I didn't think that everybody in the whole freaking county would get it.
How could you not know that in this day and time?
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil. Her family says she's a hoarder.
My mother is more attached to her junk than her kids.
This room is the kitchen. I don't use it for a kitchen.
Will she choose her kids?
I don't believe I'm a hoarder. They've tried to do this intervention.
If this doesn't rise to the level of hoarding, what do you think would?
Or her clutter.
Oh, my God. These are things that you've saved.
You just never know when you might need a wheel.
Tomorrow. Then on Friday.
I'm going to be a bride.
Did she marry a catfish?
I never met him in person.
Over the phone?
Joy, can we try to call him? Donnie, this is Dr. Phil.
Friday.
I think Claire's very spoiled. This is Claire's room. She has a pretty nice, large room that most kids would love to have. It used to be the playroom, and we changed it to a meditation room. This is the ballet room. And this is the music room. Claire's not quite interested in any music, but is here if she likes it. I feel that Claire is very fortunate to have privileges that some kids don't have. And sometimes I wonder if that's part of her problem.
I put together a timeline of what I thought were needful to think about. In 2011, she says that she starts kissing girls.
I was not aware of that.
Yeah, you're going to learn a lot today. May of 2012, you say that she's exposed to alcohol and pot at a party. In 12, she participates in sexual activity. February 28th of 2013, she says she has sex for the first time. April 13, you read her sex list.
Yes.
Because she has a list on her phone, right?
She had a list on her phone with the boys that she had sex with.
And how many were on that list?
On that list, there were 8. But I also read a diary where she writes that she slept with 8, but planning to sleep with 5 more.
Okay, and she's how old when you read that list?
She was 15.
15.
Yes.
Okay, then July of last summer, she starts dating. She dates a boy. She says she has sex 6 times in a month. Last fall, she's caught smoking weed at school, and she's suspended.
Yes.
Then November, again last fall, she says she came home at 4 a.m. drunk and could barely talk.
Yes.
Okay, I got some questions about that in a minute. Then right before Thanksgiving, you read her calendar, and in her calendar, I have a picture of it. It's got the boy's name. It says it's his birthday, and so the plan is to have sex.
Yes.
On that birthday.
Yes.
Then January of this year, she's suspended for leaving campus during lunch. In March, this orgy party takes place. Now, what she says to you is, calm down, this was all consensual.
Right.
Okay?
But that's not what she's saying to others, though.
What is she saying to others?
Well, what she said to me was that she was at the party and there were the 2 guys that she was going to participate together at the same time with. And then a third one, which was a 21-year-old guy, came in and he jumped into the situation to participate. She claims to have tried to push him away some, and then he just went ahead and took advantage of her intoxicated state and being high on pot at the time.
Yeah, she's telling us a different story than what she's telling
sure.
you, and I'm sure the truth is somewhere in the middle. But and this 21-year-old, I assume he's been arrested.
He hasn't. They had nobody.
Have you filed charges?
They wouldn't let me. They said I don't have enough proof because it was consensual. Therefore, I couldn't press charges. So they're still investigating. I just don't understand how you can be under the influence of pot and alcohol and say that that's consensual.
I don't think you're being advised right or understanding that right. We'll talk about that later. Now, days after Claire's group encounter, Fanny took her to the ER to get it checked out. Take a look.
When Claire found out about the Twitter picture on Saturday, she tried to kill herself.
My mom took me to the emergency room because over the weekend I had taken 26 sleeping pills.
We did all kinds of exams, and they also did a pelvic exam. We were in the emergency room for about 7 hours, and she couldn't even sit down. It was very uncomfortable. She said, "Mom, it hurts. She had a lot of redness and swelling. The doctor felt that it wasn't so much about an infection, but more due to a trauma. It appears that the sex must have been pretty aggressive for her to be in so much pain. I don't know how Claire feels about all of this because she goes through phases. She would cry and feel upset, and then she would act like no big deal.
I'm not pregnant, I don't have an STD, and I'm not in jail.
Why did you want to talk about this here now? Why are you here at the Dr. Phil show?
Because you're the best, and I've tried with about 7 or 8 other counselors. Since she started this, I've been trying to get her help. When I've read her diary where she says, I've been molested, maybe I'm behaving this way because of molestation, and I share that with different counselors, and no one has been able to help her.
Why would a teenage girl with the world at her feet, a wonderful life, participate in group sex sessions, allow pictures to be taken, which then were posted online, not by her? We're going to find out, because we're going to talk to this girl. We're going to talk to Claire. We're going to meet her when we come back.
have a reputation at being the school slut. Sometimes when I would smoke, I would drink too, and I would get really messed up, and then they would take advantage of that. The night of the orgy, the guy I was with handed me a drink, and he was like, "It's okay, just relax, calm down." It was consensual. I wanted to have sex.
And later, and she can roll her eyes and be as smug as she wants, I could care less. Tell me why I'm irritating you so badly.
I don't want to be responsible for getting 5 guys thrown into jail
No,
and ruining the rest of their life.
popular.
Coming next week.
Did she go 3 days without a shower because you wouldn't permit it?
No, because she chose to.
She claims her marriage is like a prison.
Have you called her stupid, ugly?
Well, I'm trying to motivate you.
This is motivational.
An alcoholic mom.
You drink about a gallon of vodka a day?
Destroying her family.
I drove with my son. I was drunk.
You lost custody of your son. You'd have access to him supervised.
Legally, I don't have to be supervised.
Trust me, that changes today.
Next week.
I lost my virginity February 28th, 2013. I don't think sex is bad. I have a reputation at being the school slut. Most of the times when I would smoke, I would drink too, and I usually ended up having sex with a guy that night. I would get really messed up, and then they would take advantage of that, and I was okay with it. Sometimes it would be guys that I knew, and other times it would be guys that I had like just met and offered me to smoke or to drink. Sex was just kind of in that deal. I'll have protected sex if they have protection. If not, then no. After I first got caught, my mom freaked out and kind of became psycho. After my mom found my list of the guys that I had slept with, she took the liberty of messaging every single one of them, telling them that if they ever contacted me again, that she would have them reported, throw them in jail. I basically told her that would just make me want to have sex more, and that I would rebel and show her that no matter what she does, I'll still have sex with them. The worst thing my mom's ever called me is probably a manipulative, lying little whore. Whenever my mom calls me a whore, it doesn't make me want to change. It makes me want to be like, okay, well, I'll show you what a whore does. I'll show you how a whore is. You think I'm a whore, then I'll go be a whore. The night of the orgy, I had smoked 3 grams of pot before and during the party. I chugged about half a bottle of them. A guy that night who led me into this bedroom, and my friend was there with another guy. My intentions were to only have sex with him and nobody else, but as we were undressing, the door opened and somebody came in and basically said, "I want to join." And I said, "Whoa, I can't do this." The guy I was with handed me a drink and he was like, "It's okay, just relax, calm down." Somehow another guy came in, and I don't really remember much. First we were having sex, and then he stopped and somebody else started having sex with me, and I had no idea who it was, and it was just chaos. It was consensual. I wanted to have sex. I was really messed up. It wasn't rape. It wasn't.
Okay, so why, Claire, do you think we're here?
Because my mom thinks I have a problem. I understand that some things are bad and too much sex is bad, or too much of anything can be bad, but I think that anything in moderation and to a degree is okay. And I understand that I went too far and that it has gotten out of hand, but
basically you just like having sex.
There's a point where it becomes a problem, but I don't think that sex in itself is a problem.
Do you think that the manner in which you have engaged is a problem?
I think it got out of hand on Friday, but I think before that it wasn't that much of a problem.
Okay, if it's not a problem, why have you tried to kill yourself twice?
Because of how everybody reacted to it.
You've had sex with 2 different guys in one day, right? You left school before to have sex. You've done that on 3 different occasions that you could remember. You say you lost your virginity at 15. At this party, you wound up being sexually engaged with 5 different people at one time or in rotation, right?
Yes.
Does that sound even remotely reasonable to you?
No. I think the party was particularly unreasonable.
How about the rest of this?
I think skipping school to have sex is bad, but...
Do you like the attention? When you're having sex with boys, you have their undivided attention? Tell me what you think would be the difference between attention and exploitation.
Exploitation, I think, is more like negative than attention.
Okay, do you think having sexual interactions with 5 boys at one time at a party is attention or exploitation?
Exploitation.
Right, so that crossed the line for you?
Yes.
Okay, and you say that you smoked 3 grams of pot before and during the party?
Yes.
You also were drinking?
It was just whiskey and rum.
You say you chugged a half a bottle of rum.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Because it was like the first night in forever that I wasn't grounded and I had freedom.
You've been grounded, so you finally get out and you say, let's just see how stupid I can get.
Mm-hmm.
When did it hit you that that was a really bad scenario?
When I walked out and everybody was just kind of staring at me and my friend, and they were just like, I hope you know that everybody knows that there's pictures being sent out and blah, blah, blah. And so.
Because while you were in there and this is going on, you saw flashes going off.
Mm-hmm.
You said a flash went off and you looked and you go, oh, they're taking pictures.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And this was during the commission of sexual activity. They're taking pictures of you.
Mm-hmm.
What did you think was going to happen to those pictures?
I told him to delete them. Like, one of them, I knew that he was Snapchatting to a friend, and I knew that was happening, and I didn't think it was a big deal at that time, just because it was just his friend that was going to see it. And then it disappears after like 3 seconds. But then I didn't realize that he had actually been saving those pictures and that he was sending them to his ex-girlfriend. Like, I didn't think that was going to happen.
You understand that everybody right now that's watching this is appalled at your naivete, not just at your choice, but the fact that you go, oh, it's just a Snapchat, it's okay, I thought he was deleting it.
But I didn't think that it would like explode into what it did. I didn't think that everybody in the whole freaking county would get it.
That's why everybody is screaming at their television screens right now, because they're saying, how could you not know that in this day and time? All right. Days after the Twitter picture surfaced, and surfaced they did, another bombshell was dropped on this family.
I find out that there might be a sex tape. I asked Claire, was there a video involved? And she says yes. She said nobody can see it. I found out about the orgy, and that day, Twitter was completely flooded. Everybody in school knew about it. All the teachers, all the parents, and it's not even that they heard about the photo, they have seen it.
Ever since the orgy. The people who I thought were my friends aren't my friends at all. Everybody just has labeled us as whores.
Comments about the orgy were very cruel. They were saying that she got what she deserved. One boy writes, sometimes one ain't enough. It's too hard to even repeat all this stuff. It's really bad.
I'm getting a ton of One person came up to me and my friend and told us that we might as well go and kill ourselves.
Well, just days after this Friday night party in which it became what some people describe as an orgy, Fanny got news that no mother wants to hear. Not only were there pictures of her daughter's dangerous sexcapades, now there was a video of the event, and it was circulating.
After the Twitter photos were out, I thought, this is it. This is the bottom. It cannot get any worse. And then I find out that there might be a sex tape.
I wanted the whole night to be erased from the pictures and the videos.
I asked Claire, was there a video involved? And she says, yes. And I said, you knew about it and didn't tell me? And she said, well, nobody can see it.
When Claire came in the door and she ran to me and hugged me and started crying. You know, I'm sorry for embarrassing the family. At the end of the day, I don't think there's any remorse for the act itself. It's the proverbial, I'm sorry I got caught, not I'm sorry I did it.
When I said there was a video circulating out there, you had a really big reaction.
There's not a video circulating. There's literally not.
That's what I heard.
No, first of all, the guy who took the video, his phone got disconnected and taken up by the police, and I asked the police if there was a video circulating, and they said no.
A video was taken?
Yes, but it's not.
Were you aware that it was being taken?
Half aware, half...
Your brother says that all of his friends have seen the video. That's what he told us. That sounds like circulating to me. Now, I don't know, but he said all of his friends have seen the video. That's what your brother said.
I have not heard of anybody seeing a video. I haven't seen a video.
And what is your dialogue with the police about? What are y'all talking about?
They basically came to the school because it was about the picture, about who had posted it. And
That person's been arrested, right?
No.
No. I wanted to press charges on the boys and the two
You
people
can't
that I
press charges
knew
on the boys for anything.
that were posting the photos.
How do you feel about those pictures being posted?
I asked the police if I could press charges, and they said that no, because basically sending out pictures and posting pictures like that is so new that they're still writing laws on it, so nothing can really be official. So that I couldn't press charges.
Yeah, that's way wrong, but and that may be their understanding of it. How about these 5 boys? Anybody pursuing them?
Nobody. Right before I left to come to the show, I called the person that was investigating, and she said that nothing has been done yet. No charges were filed.
I don't think they need to have charges pressed against them.
And that's because?
It was consensual. It wasn't.
In order to give consent, you have to be of age and capacity. Okay? If you have diminished capacity, then you don't have the ability to give consent. So the argument that this was all consensual is just a load of crap.
That's right.
Because A, she's too young, and B, there was an age differential with at least one of these boys that defies even your state's Romeo and Juliet laws. And you most certainly have diminished capacity here. She has said on record that she smoked 3 grams of pot, drank 2 cups of whiskey, and chugged a half a gallon of rum.
She's 100 pounds.
Now, do you believe that she could pass a breathalyzer at that point?
Not at all.
Then she doesn't have the capacity to operate a motor vehicle. She doesn't have the capacity to give consent. She doesn't understand the gravity of what's going on here. And she can roll her eyes and be as smug as she wants. I could care less. The fact that she is blind to this right now, you're not. Right. You are her mother. And she can't see it, but you can.
Oh, I understand.
Okay, and tell me why I'm irritating you so badly.
Because if every person who had drunken sex was charged with rape, how many people would be in jail right now? A lot. I chose to do that. I knew beforehand what was happening. I wasn't like a different person. I wasn't dumb. I mean, I was a little dumb, but I wasn't. I knew what was happening.
Didn't you change sex partners and didn't even know it?
Yes, and I do think that the older guy, that
so
he should
you
get
didn't
into some
give
kind of
consent
trouble.
to him.
I know, but I don't want to be responsible for getting 5 guys thrown into jail
No,
and ruining
because
the
you
rest
want to
of
be
their
popular.
life. No, I just don't want to ruin someone's life. I'm already not popular. People already hate me. I don't care. I don't want to be responsible for throwing someone in jail.
Let's take a break. Fanny says she has reason to believe Claire was molested in the past. The one thing she hasn't been able to find out is who.
He leaned over me as he said that and went to kiss me. I saw it coming, so I intentionally covered my mouth with both of my hands. He took both of my hands and pinned them onto my pillow. I kept saying, "Stop, please stop." He said, "It's not cheating if you're having fun." And I said, "I'm not having fun." And at this point I was basically in tears.
Tomorrow on an all-new Dr. Phil.
My mother is attached to her junk. I don't believe I'm a hoarder.
Is it time
These are things that you've saved.
for an intervention?
You never know when you might need a wheel.
That's tomorrow.
The diary that I've read of Claire, where she speaks of losing her virginity, and she also talks about how many partners she had. She says something like, "I don't know why I do the things I do. It could be the molestation." I asked Claire, something happened, nothing happened. She said, why would anybody write something like that if it didn't happen? So she doesn't tell me, and I don't know that she's told anybody. 8 counselors have not been able to tell me who molested my daughter.
Claire says that she has a reputation at school for being skilled at sex. She says she lost her virginity at 15, admits to being highly sexual. Claire also admits that she was violated by a boy after sneaking out of a friend's house at age 13. Take a look.
Somewhere between 7th and 8th grade, I was best friends with this girl, and she had a beach house. We snuck out at like 1 in the morning. There were guys from out of state, and they were like, "Oh, you guys want to hang out with us?" And we were like, "Oh, okay, sure." I told all of them that I had a boyfriend and that I was just there with my friend just to hang out. There was the 4 of us in the bedroom. My friend and the guy she liked just like got up and left. So it was just me and the one guy. And he was like, "Please, just one kiss." And I was like, "No, I have a boyfriend." He said, "It's not cheating if you're having fun." And I said, "I'm not having fun and I don't want to cheat." He was just like, "Please, please." And he like leaned over me as he said that and like went to kiss me. And so I saw it coming, so I intentionally covered my mouth with both of my hands. He like took both of my hands and like pinned them onto my pillow. I told him to stop and I told him no. He like went and undid my top. I was like, "Please don't do this. I'm not gonna kiss you." And he just slammed his mouth on mine and started like making out with me. I wasn't kissing him back at all, but he was just like on top of me. I only had my swimsuit on, and he only had his swimsuit on. I kept saying, "Stop, please stop." And at this point, I was basically in tears. He was like, "Let me just take these off, it'll be more comfortable." So he took his hand off of my hand to go and undo my bottoms. And like, as he did that, I basically saw the opportunity and I like kicked him off of me. And I like grabbed my top and I just ran out there crying. We never actually had sex. I definitely do feel like I was molested. I was violated that night.
Of course you were.
Can I just like go on record that my mom knew about this? My mom has known about this?
That's what I said. I think that's what had happened, but I wasn't sure that was the actual molestation because you said nothing happened.
We've been trying to go back to this incident as the beginning of a lot of stuff for a long time. You had 3 suicide attempts right after that, trying to hang yourself, drown yourself, and cutting yourself.
Were you upset about what happened that night?
Yep.
Why did you try to hurt yourself afterwards?
Because I had to tell my boyfriend what happened, and he basically dismissed it and basically told me that I was a whore for doing that. And it was right whenever my parents were going through court, and I just didn't want to deal with it. So
you're the victim, but you wound up getting blamed.
Mm-hmm.
And now you've been to this party, and you've been blamed by people at school. Mm-hmm. On a day-to-day basis, you're not really very happy right now, are you?
I just don't know how to, like, deal with it at all, like, at school or in general. Just, like, because people, like, I don't even know about the picture and know about what happened.
Do you want to know how to deal with all of that? Do you want to have a strategy for it? It's very clear to me that you said maybe psychologically I'm drawn or addicted. I think that's really right. We know there was a time in your life when there was a divorce, and so your dad goes away. Is that a formative time developmentally, personality-wise, that leaves you with an unfulfilled need for proper male attention and that sort of thing? You don't get along great here, right? You have a young girl behaving in a very grown-up world, and she is not equipped for it. So you've got a girl here that is so overwhelmed by the consequences of her choices that she's tried to hit the eject button a half a dozen, 8, 9, 10 times. That tells you that whatever choices are, they're leading to consequences that go beyond her coping skills. Yes. You've never had a guided conversation with yourself about why the things that you are doing seem reasonable to you.
Because they seem reasonable to other people, too.
Yeah, listen, if you're telling me this is just what teens do these days, teens don't try to kill themselves 10 times. Teens don't go and have orgies. If that's the case, then why is everybody judging you instead of participating? Why was it just you and one other girl in there? Why did you come out and all the other girls give you mean looks and shun you? If that's what all teens do, then why are you being shunned, labeled, hated, and judged?
Good question.
You're right.
Thank you. I am right, and you are a good kid that deserves a hell of a lot better than you're getting from yourself and others. And we're going to fix that. All right, next, over the years, I've met a lot of young ladies just like Claire. One of them stood out above the rest.
I'm desperate to get help for my daughter.
Every time after something bad happens, I have a moment of clarity and I'm like, I need to be a good person. And then like a few days later, I get temptations and I slip back into it. I've never been able to separate myself from that crowd. I have no self-control.
Now, when we first met Layla on this show, she was 20 years old. She was a self-proclaimed party girl. She loved having fun and being sexy. She said drinking made her brave, witty, fun, and outgoing. She liked getting up on the table and dancing with friends because the guys paid attention to her, and she really loved that attention. Take a look.
I love partying. I've experienced bad things, but I think it's part of the lifestyle that I love to live.
You say, when I start drinking, nothing else matters. You say, when you drink, you feel brave, sexy, fun, and witty. How fun and witty were you being when you hit a telephone pole at 80 miles an hour? You think that's normal?
I mean, I do know a lot of people who have totaled their cars as a result of drinking and driving.
Then you know a lot of moronic idiots.
3.5 years ago, I was a mess. I was going to party for as long as I possibly could until the worst could happen, and that was death. And to be quite honest, I didn't mind death. I do like looking promiscuous.
Layla's attracted to bad boys.
I started to become sexually active when I was about 16. By the time I was 20, I was a lot less selective with my sexual partners.
You said that maybe you'll be a stripper because then you can make a lot of money.
I don't really have a lot of self-worth. If I stripped, I would have all the attention I could ever want.
We need a reality lesson here. She is going to die if something doesn't happen.
I don't know how to stop. The day we recorded the show, and my current sobriety date is November 2nd, 2010. If it wasn't for the Dr. Phil show, I would be dead or I would be in prison. When I heard Claire's story, immediately I went, I understand. Because I was Claire. There were very promiscuous photos of me online with another boy. Claire's story scares me more than my own. She's 16, I was 20, and if it's this bad at 16, she hasn't seen anything yet.
Layla, thank you for being here. It's so glad to see you clear-eyed and looking much, much healthier. You've been listening to all this. This does scare you, does it not?
Oh, it absolutely terrifies me. Like I said, you haven't seen anything yet. If this is how bad it gets at 16, you know, after just a year or so of engaging in sexual activity, it's going to get a lot worse. I promise you that. I promise.
And at some point, you made a decision that said, I have to redefine myself. Why did you make that decision?
Whoever I'm surrounding myself with, I would act like. Because I didn't know how to act. I didn't know who I was.
I see you nodding your head when she's talking about a lot of things she's saying, because you get it, right? Mm-hmm. You get her.
Yes.
And this is, there comes a time where you have to decide, you know what, I'm either going to continue down this road that is bringing me pain, or I'm going to do whatever it takes to change it. And my question to you is, do you want to do whatever it takes to change it? Ready to get real? Go to drphil.com for advice on relationships, parenting, finances, and more. Plus, weigh in on your favorite episode, share your stories, and find support in the Dr. Phil community. When you sign up for the community, you will automatically be subscribed to the Dr. Phil Show newsletter. Log on to drphil.com today. You need a game changer right now. You need to be selfish in your own behalf. Now, Matt Polachek is from the Center for Discovery. It's right here in Southern California. It is a structured therapeutic residential treatment center. They've been doing this for 17 years. It is a beautiful campus, a beautiful facility. And I think that you would benefit tremendously, immensely from calling time out and saying, you know what, I'm going to go off by myself for a period of time, and I'm going to figure out what the hell's going on. Matt, talk about this.
Yeah, I agree. You know, in observations, you know, I see this beautiful home with this music room. Well, she doesn't play music. I see this ballet room. Well, she doesn't do ballet. I see this gym room. She's not an athlete. We got to find you, and we got to discover you and empower you and build your self-esteem and your identity. And this is just an incredible opportunity for you to focus on you and get away from the drama with the school, the issues with mom and dad, and take the opportunity for yourself.
Will you do this? You will do this. And we'll go back and sit down and answer all your questions, and we can open up a laptop and show you everything. There doesn't need to be any unknowns here. Now, I'm offering that to her. You have to approve this. Do you agree to this?
Absolutely, yes.
I have a special thanks to Matt Polachek and the Center for Discovery and Safe Interventions. You guys, it's amazing the work that y'all do over there. It is so supportive, and it is so helpful. And the self-interventions transporters that are here that make everything go smoothly and safely so everybody gets where they all through traffic and problems and all of that. We thank you for your professional expertise in all of this. So we have a plan here. And, right?
Yes, we do.
And you understand you've got work to do.
I do.
Okay, y'all as a couple, as a family, has work to do.
Yes.
All right. For more information, go to drphil.com. I also want to thank our team at Doctor On Demand. Doctor On Demand is the app I know you've all heard about now that Jay and I have created, where you can go face-to-face with a board-certified doctor at any given time, just on your smartphone without ever having to leave your own home. And if you want to have your own Doctor On Demand, you can just go to Google Plays or the App Store, and you can download the Doctor On Demand app. We use it here, used it in terms of looking at different medical questions that we want to clear ahead of time. They've been very helpful. So thank you. We'll see you next time. You guys want to help me with it very close.